Okay, so anyway, I think it's also important to discuss about inflation. And today's news is it's a look into the upcoming inflation announcement. How is it going to affect whatever we are looking at? Okay, the asset classes. So the most recent non-farm payroll data showed an increase of 175,000 jobs, a decrease from March addition of 315,000 jobs. So following April's weaker than anticipated job gains, the inflation figures due on May 16 will be a crucial indicator for the Federal Reserve future monetary policy decisions because I mentioned in the past, jobs is a very, very important data for the Fed to make its decision. So what are the Fed waiting for? They're actually awaiting clearer evidence of consistent inflation decline before considering reductions in borrowing costs. So that makes the upcoming US Consumer Price Index data crucial because when it comes out on Wednesday, the forecast is saying a year-on-year increase of year-on-year decrease, not increase, okay? Decrease of 3.4, which is oh sorry, my mistake over here. The forecast of year-on-year increase of 3.4%, yeah, which is a 0.1 decline from the previous month. Okay, previous month was 3.5, whereas the core CPI month-to-month increase is predicted at 0.3, down from 0.4. Yeah, so this is crucial, and we want to see this is what the forecast and the prediction is saying. Now, this forthcoming CPI report is the first of two before the Federal Open Market Committee convenes on June the 12th. The subsequent May CPI release will occur on the morning of the FOMC's decision day regarding interest rates in June. Okay, so these are very, very crucial data, and the next two CPI data, it's very, very crucial, and probably would kind of like stall movements leading to its release. And then after release, we probably would see big movements, especially if the results is out of expectations. Okay, so given the ongoing struggle with disinflation throughout 2024, the FOMC so far is unlikely to reduce rates until at least July, possibly later. The possibility of delaying rate cuts could also intersect with presidential elections in November. Although the Federal Reserve strives to remain apolitical, its decisions are inevitably influenced by the electoral calendar. So, barring some extraordinary data, hopes are not high for rate reduction in June, and this pushes potential rate adjustments to the FOMC meeting in July, September, and early November, coinciding with the peak of the election season. Now, this also this is also still being part of the Fed's plan to cut rates 3 times this year. So how is this going to play out, right? I think that's also crucial because what's happening here is that President Biden, in a press conference, reaffirms its administration commitment to reducing life costs of Americans and expressed confidence in a rate cut by year's end. Okay, so Biden has already preempted and said, yes, we're going to have a cut. So we we still need to check and see whether inflation is going to come down, because if you just simply cut, then we don't know if that's going to happen or not. So should the upcoming inflation report show lower than expected figures, it might hasten the timeline for rate cuts. Conversely, if inflation exceeds expectation and the job markets remain robust, this could lead to discussions about further delaying rate reductions. So therefore, it's important to closely monitor shelter and energy prices. This CPI release, we need to look at that as they significantly influence the CPI. So that will give us an idea. So if, for example, shelter, which is costs are rising more rapidly than the other major components, that's different thing because shelter plays a very, very important role. So we see that it kind of gives us ideas that, hey, probably inflation is still going to stay, given that shelter is still high. Now, one thing I need to address is a lot of, I sometimes uh, I meet people out there and they said that, they don't understand what is this inflation all about, and they don't understand because number one, they're saying that inflation is coming down. In the US, it came down from 9% right up to right now, it's about 3% plus like that, and we should actually see prices coming down. But why are day-to-day goods and services going up instead? Now, the crucial point people need to realize is that um, on a month-to-month, on quarter-quarter, year-on-year basis, it's still a positive data on the inflation. Even it comes down to 2%, it's still a positive number. And because of this positive number, it is actually um, maintaining whatever prices that have risen in the past, right? Because inflation is still around, it's still going up. Unless we get a negative number, that's a different case. So if you have continuous negative number of negative CPI, then that's a different case. The possibility of price coming down then could happen. Other than that, yes, this is an ongoing problem that all economies uh, have to face due to their many factors, and one of those will be like excessive money printing, the free money that is we're going to see much more of it the moment Fed stops cut, stops cuts its interest rates and bring it down to lower areas, and that's when all this money printing or aka quantitative easing is going to happen, and that will then in a way we're going to see price actually going much higher in the distant future. Okay, so with that, that's the report for today.